Hello and Guru Scott. On this video, we're going to be doing an oil change on our 2002 Lexus GS300. Now, this same procedure should apply to any Toyota or Lexus with a Model 2 JZ type engine. It's an inline straight 6, 3-liter engine. First thing you're going to need to do is safety. You always wear safety glasses, and you want to make sure the engine's cool enough to work on so you don't burn yourself on the oil or any hot parts. So some of the things you're going to need is a drain pan. I like to use these clutch wrenches. These are these very long wrenches with ratchets on the end. You're going to need about 6 quarts of a good synthetic oil. We're going to use some Mobil 1 here. You're going to need a filter. For this, we're going to use a Purolator PSL 10241. This is made in USA. A genuine Toyota drain plug gasket. And our filter wrench is a Lyle 61570. It's a 76 millimeter by 14 flutes. And then you'll need a 3/8" drive. And all of these parts will be listed in the description on where you can find them on Amazon. So with that, we'll get started here in a second. Okay, the drain plug is on the passenger side of the oil pan right here. I've already got it loose. I took a 14 millimeter long handled clutch driver, put it on here, and broke it loose. This one was quite tight, which concerns me because I don't think it needs to be that tight, and it worries me. These strip out very, very easily. So I'm going to take the oil cap loose before I take this fully out, and that'll allow the oil to drip out very easy. And so I'm going to get the oil drained, and I'm going to come back and tell you what we're going to do next. All right, so I've cleaned up the drain plug, and I put a new crush washer or Toyota gasket on it right here. I also put some low-strength Loctite because that's going to act as a sealer, because the torque spec on this plug is 29 foot-pounds. But I found that when you get into an older Toyota, these strip out real easy, and then you have to change the whole drain pan. I've done it, I know, and it's kind of a thing that you want to avoid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in and hand snug it. It's going to probably be more like 20 or 22 or 23 foot-pounds. I'll make sure it's good and snug, but good enough to keep it from leaking and it won't fall out. But again, I just want to warn you, if you go to the 29 foot-pounds, it often does strip out the plugs. And it's usually because some shop previous to you has cross-threaded the plug or put it in at 35 or 40 or 50 foot-pounds with an impact driver and buggered up the threads, and there's really nothing you can do about it. This one actually looks like it's in great shape, so it probably would torque fine at 29. So I'm going to go ahead and reinsert it, and I'll come back and talk about it. Okay, I'm ready to insert the drain plug. It's going to go in right here. So I'm going to get it started by hand. Then I'm going to wipe up any excess oil that's still dripping there. And then I'm going to hand tighten it. Then I'm going to take my wrench and I'm going to go ahead and snug it up real good. And that's just by feel. Like I said, you could do it at 29 foot-pounds per spec. Or in my case, I'm going to try to do it by feel until I feel the crush washer crush, and you can generally tell when the drain plug's tight. Okay, so it's pretty tight right there. I might make it just a little more tight, and then I'm going to stop. And that's it for the drain plug. Okay, the filter is located on the driver's side of the engine. You'll see it's pointing at an oblique angle kind of towards the wheel. And I'm going to go ahead and put this tool and driver on there, and I'm going to loosen it up. And I'm just barely going to loosen it, left to loosen. And I'm not going to unspin it yet because all I want to do is loosen it up so that I can hand unspin it. And because these leak and they're a nasty mess, I'm going to put some bags underneath it when I get to that point. So I'm going to break away and I'll come right back and show you that. Okay, the filter's now just barely loose, so I can turn it by my hand. And what I've done is taken a couple of bags like you get at the grocery store and put some paper towels in them. And I'm going to slip it down underneath this filter and try to catch as much of the oil as I can when I take the filter loose. And this never gets it all. It's always a mess no matter what you do. But I should be able to capture a lot of it. So let's see what I can do. And I'm going to have to end up blocking the camera to do this, so I think. Let's see. I'm going to take it out now. I'm going to hold it up straight, and then I'm going to take the whole thing out, and then I'm going to go dump the oil into the waste bucket. So I'll get that done, and then I'm going to come back. All right, I have the new filter, and I put some oil around the gasket, and I'm going to put it on here. It's up under here. It's kind of not real easy to get to. And I'm going to barely screw it on till it just starts to touch. Right there. Then I'm going to take a marker, in this case a silver Sharpie. I'm going to make a mark. Then I'm going to put the oil filter wrench on it and turn it 3/4 to 1 turn, and that'll be fully tightened. So 3/4 is usually enough, but I'll judge it as I put the wrench on, and I'll turn it, and I'll come back and show you what happened. All right, I used the filter wrench and turned it exactly 1 turn. So now it's nice and tight. I did check it with my hand to make sure it doesn't come loose. And so now we'll start to add the oil into the engine. At this point, I'm ready to add the oil. So I've got a clean funnel. I put it into where the oil goes in the top of the engine. And I'm going to put 5 quarts in first, very slowly, because Toyotas tend to overfill very easily. So just take it nice and slow. Put the 5 quarts in, then we're going to put the cap on and start it up and get an idea of how much more oil we need to add. It's a lot easier to not have enough than to have too much. And if you put 5 quarts in, you're going to have plenty to start the engine, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, so at this point, I'm going to put the cap back on, right to tighten. It should look like this, so it has the numbers and everything facing towards you. And now we're going to go ahead and start the car and make sure there's no leaks at the filter or underneath the drain plug. We'll take it for a drive, and then we're going to come back and we'll top up the oil as we need to, very slowly, so we don't overfill it. So we'll go ahead and start it right now and see if everything's okay. And that's really all there is to this video. So thanks for watching. Tschüss.